Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome everybody. Today I'm looking at the Hot Wheels Star Wars Awing Starfighter released in 2016. This interpretation of the vessel was first seen in Star Wars Rebels and it was based on Ralph McQuarrie's concept art among other modifications. Now these A-Wings were used by the small rebel group called Phoenix Squadron, and I really like this design. I'm actually a fan of it. It's one of my favorite Hot Wheels ships they've ever made, and one of my favorite new ship designs that came out of the Disney Star Wars era, if you want to put it that way. I really like that it has a lot of fine details on the main hull, and speaking of the hull, look at the body on here. They took the original A-Wing, which a lot of original trilogy ships were industrial. They had a lot of angles and weird curves. And what they did was they took it, stripped it down, made it more aerodynamic, a little wider. The engines are tilted with the fins there. And I don't know, I just like it. It's visually appealing to me. And I know some people may not agree with me, but everybody has their different favorites, you know? Let's not judge here. So for the size of this model, it comes in at about 2.5 inches long, which is pretty nice for the line. So if you're new to the channel, what I like to do is take a good look at the mold, check out the paint, put it back on a stand, compare it to some other vessels, and then we'll be done. So let's get started. Alright, let's kick this review off looking at the mold. Like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the item, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see those fine details. So for the main parts of the ship, we have our laser cannons on the sides, looking good. We have our missile launchers on these sides right here where these recesses are. Looking really neat. We have our cockpit. Engines in the back with stabilizer fins, which I love how they're slanted there. Very nice. In the center we have our thrusters. And on the bottom we have some nice detailing. 3 rivets holding it together, stand port, and copyright crap. All in all, a nice looking vessel. So now let's get a closer look. And now having a closer look at the details, technically this is a re-review, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but look at the main hull. Tons of fine little lines, little recesses on each side. Looking very nice. Now we'll look at the sides here, you can see all the fine line work. I love this paneling effect. Looking great, and it goes right to the aft. Excellent, the same for this side. Looking amazing. We have our canopy here, which looks pretty nice. I love the recessed windows. Looking very cool. Turning it around, we could see all that detail on there. Very nice. Little recesses here. Pretty good. And then the back, looking great. We have our thruster section in the center. Couple of recesses as well. Fantastic stuff. On these sides of the ship, it's mainly flat in the front. We have our little recesses for the concussion missiles. That's on both sides. And then it sort of curves in. We have a little detail right there. And then our laser cannon, which looks sort of basic, but the details are there. And in my opinion, it looks pretty good. And then in the back, we have a little seam line there. Not bad at all. Same for this side. We have our laser cannon, which is identical, looking pretty good. And then that beautiful curve coming down here. Great stuff. And I just love how it sort of bends in here, right to the bottom, which looks great. And for the bottom, again, that seam line continues, and then we have some nice fine line work. Great stuff. Pretty good. There's our 3 rivets, our connector port for the stand, copyright crap, some nice detailing throughout. Fantastic piece. Then we have some raised sections. As you can see when I turn it though, nothing's flat on here. Everything is raised up or recessed in. Little paint mishaps with the rivets, but you're never going to see that anyway. And then we come right back to the aft. Looking good. For the engines themselves, they look very nice. You can see some beautiful details there. A lot of cylinder work going on, but we do have some line work right here in the back. And then for the interior, same thing. Basically, it's just a cylinder with some line work. Pretty good, and that's the same for this side, so I won't waste your time going over both of them. But looking at the stabilizer fins, we could see that excellent line work throughout. Fantastic, nice little panel in there. Great stuff. And then for the interior, let me get a good, there we go. We can see how all that continues right down to the bottom. Great stuff. And it is for the most part the same on this side. No real shocks. Looking good. So that does it for the mold. Hopefully I covered everything. This is a very nice looking vessel. So now let's take a look at the paint. And now looking at that paint on the Hot Wheels Star Wars A-Wing Starfighter, this baby features 7 different colors. First up is a nice light gray, the main color of the ship. Looking very nice, good color choice. It's in the aft, on the sides, and the back of the engine section as well. And the underneath. Looking good. On top of that, we do have green, which is a nice color choice. I like the olive green. Very nice. And that's on the stabilizer fins as well. Looking pretty good. On top of that, we do have a nice tan for the laser cannons as well as the engines. Looking very nice. Now the paint is a little iffy around where the engine meets the fin, but it's only noticeable really close up. So besides that, we do have yellow on the main body. Nicely done, very clean. As well as red on those laser cannons. It's actually more of a red-orange, but it is what it is. Moving on from there, we do have white on the tips of these stabilizer fins. Very clean, the interiors, the sides, everything's painted. Looking great. And finally, we have glossy black for the canopy window. And we could see how it reflects all my lights. Looking great. So that does it for the mold and the paint. So now let's put this baby back on the stand, compare it to some other vessels, and then we'll be done. And just like other Hot Wheels ships, it comes with a cool translucent stand. We can see the Phoenix Squadron symbol there, looking good. Peg the stand into the port like so, hear that click. And just like that, everybody, you are good to go. And now for a quick size comparison with the Hot Wheels Star Wars A-Wing. Seen in the center, I have some other Hot Wheels Rebel ships. On the right-hand side, we have the Phantom, which looks pretty good. And then finally, on the left-hand side, we have the Ghost. Some great-looking ships here. And for an added bonus size comparison with the A-Wing seen right here, we have some other Hot Wheels vessels. On the right-hand side, we have Yoda's Jedi Starfighter. Moving to the left, we have the Republic Attack Cruiser. And finally, the Razor Crest from The Mandalorian. And if you're interested in seeing reviews of any of these vessels, check the links in the description below. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Star Wars A-Wing Starfighter, released in 2016. Now, I know a lot of people out there aren't fans of Star Wars Rebels or the designs in that show, but I, for one, really enjoyed Rebels, and I liked all the different ships they showed in it, and my favorite, probably, is the A-Wing. I love what they did here. They took the original A-Wing, looked at concept art, modified it a little bit, and this is what we got. And I think it worked very well for the show, and it works great as a model. For the mold, like I said, I love the aerodynamic take on this vessel. Its shape is more wide and condensed, and I love it for that. Plus, it has many details scattered all over. Nothing is flat. Lots of line work, modules, recesses, raised sections. Everything's on here if you know where to look. For the paint, everything goes well together. We have that olive green, the khaki, the gray, the yellow. I love it. And you can't forget, it does come with a nice translucent stand to help it blend in with the rest of the collection. And that's everything I have to say about this fighter today. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. And if you'd like to see new videos every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch my content. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.